to God, it's me, I'm back again. I hope you guys are enjoying life as much as you possibly can, but most of all I pray to God that you're staying safe and connected with God. As promised, I said that as God continued to give me permission to reveal things that I know or things that He's shown me, because I don't know anything on my own strength, I'd continue to share it with you. So the first thing I want to bring to you is teaching your children over this period the things of God. Now, I've seen lots of parents and they've been very, very dedicated to making sure their children's continuing with education. That's fabulous. That's the way you want to go. Fine. Yet, I haven't seen any parents boasting that they're teaching their children the things of God. Let me tell you something. No, education ain't going to save you in these last days, you know. They're not going to save you. And the other thing is, right, we don't even know how long and how relevant the education system is going to be, because they're bringing in a whole new thing, and it's called Google chip. And Google chip is this thing that they implant in your mind, and then your brain basically becomes Google. So everything that's on Google is already downloaded in your mind. And it's also going to have this thing where it's like having a recorded photographic memory. So you could go to a concert and you'll see the concert and you want to come home, you want to replay it, you can replay it in your mind. I know it sounds like proper Minority Report thing, yeah? But Google it. You'll find it. It's there. So I'm not knocking education by any means, shapes, or whatever. My son's in university right now training. What I'm saying is it has its place, and that should not be above learning teaching your offspring the things of God. And this is where I'm also going to challenge grandmas and aunties. Just find ways, pray for God to give you ways to educate your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren. You know, send them homework, send them Christian films, and then have a conversation with them over the phone about it. There's many different ways. It doesn't have to be hard and tough. You know, we can get them into learning things in a much more playful way, because most people learn better through song or through play anyway. The other thing is a bit darker, I'm afraid, and that is it came to my attention yesterday, and it almost broke my heart. It didn't almost break my heart, in fact it shattered it. Somebody reached out to me on Facebook and said that their child was taken, they're from another country, their child was taken into hospital with coronavirus. They was not allowed to be with their child at any stage throughout this process. And eventually, unfortunately, the child went on to die alone. The country will not release the body for the body to be buried. That poor child. The parents are in bits. So, you know, this is what is happening. And it's really heart-wrenching, because you know, the last thing that we want is for our children to pass over without us there. Do you know what I mean? It's hard enough letting go of it. I can't even begin to understand. Do you know what? I don't even want to take my mind there to the pain that must have caused. And this is another reason why I'm just begging you guys, teach your children the way in which to go. Teach your children to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, because He is the only one who can be everywhere. Because trust me, nothing can't stop Him from bopping up. You know what I mean? When the Holy Ghost was to come up, no police, no demon, no nothing can't stop them. And then they got at least the comfort of the Lord. You know, it's serious out here. You know, the enemy ain't playing games, and we can't be playing neither. The other thing that God is showing me is that, you know, demonic force. And I know what you're going to think. She really flew over the cuckoo's nest, but stick with me. Right. So God showed me that demonic entities had a few days ago landed on this planet. And when I first sensed it, I thought, you know, but over the course of the time, God has revealed more and more to me. Like, this is one of the reasons that they're doing the whole lockdown, yeah? Because they're coming on this planet, but they've been here before, but every time that they came before, they're always possessed bodies. Now they want to come in their bodies. Why do you think, look, open your eyes. Do you really think, right, that these people, you know, that the whole gender thing, we went from having two genders, Yeah, to having over 100 gender. One person said they're a pixie, another person said they're a dragon, one person even identified herself as a microwave. These things are not coincidental, right? Why the enemy has done this is because when they come in their physical form, we are already used to seeing people looking strange. So the most we may do is just bat an eyelid at them and then forget about it and move on. Now, listen to this. The enemy does not know the future. He's not omnipresent like God. He doesn't know the beginning to the end. He knows what he plans and what he wants done, but that's about all that he knows. So what he has to do is each time put out feelers to see if mankind's brainwashed enough in order to accept what rubbish he wants to bring. So could you imagine 50, 60 years ago, people walking around saying they're dragon and they're this and they're that and that? No. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. So they had to keep pumping it. And one thing with the internet, like with everything, it has its good bits and it has its bad bits, and because we're open to a whole new world, you get pumped with so many images that things that was once abnormal suddenly become normal. Trust me, they don't want nobody seeing when they land on this planet. But funnily enough, people have been sending me on Facebook, and if you want to see them, just inbox me or shout at me or whatever, and I'll send it on to you. Funny things that's been going on in the air over the past few days, in space, this the clouds are acting, everything's acting funny and shady, yeah? And one of the things that they wanted to do, make a cover story. That's why they said, look, the comet might be landing. There was no comet landing. No comet wasn't coming nowhere, right? Demons are bopping up on this planet, and they're in the countries. They landed in a lot of the countries that's on lockdown because they didn't want people seeing them come, right? England should have been on lockdown back already. This is why Boris Johnson comes out and he's all shady, like he doesn't even know what to say because he doesn't know what's going on, because the intercessors of this country is pushing back the darkness. I don't know how long that is going to last for, but that is what God has told me that you've got to watch out for. The other thing that God spoke to me once again is about this cashless society and the chip. Now, I hope that you listened to the first podcast, and if you haven't, you really need to go back and listen to it. So God said that we needed to set aside money and buy food, non-perishable food, because the time is going to come, you're going to have money and you cannot buy food. So what God drew to my attention is that all of a sudden, there's reports going around saying that plastic holds this virus longer than anything else. My daughter-in-law said she went into the shop the other day. She didn't have her card and she wanted to pay by cash, and they said, we're not taking your money. Yeah? So all of a sudden, do you think that is coincidental, right? Check it. That 2 or 3 years ago, all of a sudden they decided that they wanted to protect the trees, yeah? So they're not bringing out paper money no more. They're bringing out plastic money. Doesn't really make sense, because all of a sudden the world's like, oh my gosh, we've got to stop using plastic. No. What they want to do now, they're going to feed people with the fear, saying that this virus holds on plastic. They're lying, right? But what that is going to push in now is the cashless society. You have to take the chip. So for those of us who are children of God who refuse to take the chip, we have nothing to bargain with. We can't take the money to the shop. It's useless. It's no longer a currency. So we have to follow God's order. Once again, he says, as long as you obey, you will be okay. So like in the time of Joseph, when there's plenty, you store up for the time when there's not plenty. You must set aside money to buy non-perishable food. The other thing that God is saying to me, and I don't know much about this one, is that a lot of rich and famous are going to all of a sudden seem to have disappear or become sick and die. And that is a big deception, but I'm not clear on what the deception is just yet. The other thing that God spoke to me again about was the cow. Now, on the first pod, he said to stay away from eating beef, and I wasn't totally sure why. Nevertheless, I've gone on to find out, and God has shown me that cows are man-made, like the hybrids. Really didn't know that. And it's not coincidental that the Indians worship the cow. Like, check it out. They're not made by God. Cows are not made by God, so who made them? Gods. Yeah? And so every time now you want to be cutting a piece of beef and putting it down your throat, yeah, you are actually eating a god. Understand it? People worship this thing. So you are actually eating a false god. Now, there was a time we were allowed to do that, and God covered us for whatever reason. Nevertheless, he's saying now is the time, do not eat beef. Your body can't even digest it because it's man-made. Anything man-made, our body doesn't know what to do with it. That's why it stores it as fat. And then the people are saying, when you eat beef, it's staying in your body for 10 years. It's rotting you from the inside anyway. So, you know, if you obey, you'll be okay. Cut out the beef. The other thing that God is once again talking to me about is hair. And I spoke to you guys about the whole weave thing in the first pod. And if you haven't heard the first pod, you really need to go back and hear it. But God spoke to me again yesterday about hair. Now, when these people want to do their voodoo and their juju or the poop or whatever you want to call it, yeah, what the first thing that they're looking to get is hair, right? When you go to the hairdressers, when you go to the barbers, God is saying you have to pray and disconnect yourself from that hair. So you ask God, God, I sever all connection with the hair that's being taken off of my head. Yeah? Because when they want to pick up the hair off the floor and make voodoo dolls, no, that's not for the children of God. Now, you didn't know before, God covered you. You know now. Yeah? So you need to obey and listen to what the voice of the Lord is telling you. Now, please understand, right? I am not coming to you as no hierarchy. I've got my issues. But you know what? The world is scared. They're really scared. I've got grown men that makes my 6 foot, 20 stone muscle built son, 6'4" or whatever he is, look like baby. They're that massive and big and tonk. And they're inboxing me saying, you know what? I'm terrified. And what do we do? And they're not scared of the disease. Yeah, they're saying they're not scared of the disease, but they can sense that something isn't right in the atmosphere and life will never be the same again. And these are people that aren't saved. And people that aren't saved, they're sending me scriptures and asking me, is this what's happening? You know, they're looking for answers. And we have the answer. It's our duty to share that. Now, please understand, none of this is to big me up because, no, you know, who am I? Like, I'm not the smartest tree on the bulb. We know this, right? Or the smartest bulb on the tree. See, told ya. But this is to glorify God, for you to understand the season that we're in and what is taking place and to obey and be okay. Yeah? Listen, there's not time for you to be afraid. There's nothing for you to be afraid about, yeah? Satan might be bopping up, but you know what? That just means that Jesus is coming back soon. So all you warriors who are in the army of God, you have to really allow God to prepare you. The time is coming that we'll be in battle, and it's exciting times because, you know, our commander-in-chief is calling us into war. Forever and ever, let's give God the glory. Let's preach the gospel. Let's pray for the gifts, and let's educate our offspring. God is love. He's got you. He's got this. We're going to be okay. Hi guys, just one more thing before I disappear. You know, I'm blessed that God is using me. I'm super blessed. Unfortunately, the more the work increases, my time decreases. So please sign up, follow me on the podcast. This is a podcast not to pick up anybody, but to give the saints of God instruction. I can't keep sending that out individually. I just don't have the time. So yeah, guys, so I'm unfortunately just not going to have the time to keep sending this out one by one. So, you know, if you feel led by God and this is witnessing to you and ministering to you, then I ask you, please share it and please follow. If it's not, then don't. You know, this has got to be God's thing. It's God's thing. It's not my thing. So God is love. He loves you. He's got this. You're safe. Be happy. Bye.